up, everyone? It is Mr. Dean, and you are back once again, or maybe not once again if this is your first time, to the Special Hour Podcast. This is episode 7, and today, as usual, I am joined by my co-host, DonovanDud. What's up, Donovan?
Hi there, it's Donovan, and you would not believe what I've been up to the past 2 days.
What? What have you been up to the past 2 days?
I have broken the allegations. I was employed.
Wait, what?
I know,
wait,
this might be fake.
Not even a fake reaction.
I'm being for real. I was employed. It was just for a short while, but I made some bank, and I can finally say I did something this summer.
Let's go. Dude, I'm actually happy for you. That's awesome.
What did you do?
Like, specifically the past 2 days?
Yeah.
Yesterday I went to a concert. A few of my friends convinced me to go see Keshi because he was coming by Houston. I was not really familiar with his music all too much, but I still decided to go anyway, and it was pretty fun. It's a pretty solid concert. He had a few openers as well. It was very hot, though. Anyone that's from Texas probably knows just how absurd it is down here. So we were just like standing for 5 hours straight.
Big crowd.
In like 100-degree weather. It was a pretty solid crowd. So it was like general admission, so everyone was packed together, which definitely did not help either with like the heat element. But yeah, it was pretty fun. Mm-hmm. But other than that, just like typical stuff.
Yeah, over here we had Lollapalooza. I didn't go, but yes. I could already see from the crowd from my friend's apartment. It was ginormous, and we did encounter a crowd while exploring for ice cream. So
I did wish I was able to go to Lollapalooza, and I've honestly never been to a music festival. I would love to go to either that, like Austin City Limits, Coachella, just like one of those one day, because it does seem like a lot of fun. And I did watch some YouTube clips of like some of the performances. I saw like Sabrina Carpenter brought out Earth, Wind, and Fire, which is crazy. It seems like we both had some pretty eventful weeks. That's pretty awesome. So Donovan, are you ready to talk some gaming stuff? Because there's been some interesting stuff that has happened over the past week or so. Mainly it's like a bunch of smaller topics for this week.
There's some pretty meaty stuff we can talk about.
There is. Well, yes, there is. But we're going to start off with somewhat of a softball. So are you a big fan of Pilotwings, Donovan? Like, what are your thoughts on the Pilotwings series?
Keeping this up. Never played a Pilot. Actually, I played 2 minutes of Pilotwings on SNES. So
it's actually okay. Pilotwings on the Super Nintendo is actually a somewhat underrated game. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's not like one of the greatest games of all time, but I enjoy it. It's fun to come back to every now and then.
I'm morbidly intrigued by Pilotwings Resort, but. Anyways, continue with this grand news story.
Yes, so all 3 Pilotwings games have been added to Nintendo Music, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, but I just had to touch on this again, because as soon as the second I saw this headline on Twitter, I was like, motherfucker, dude, like,
are we for real right now? Are you serious?
Oh my! What do I need to do, Nintendo, for Mario Kart World to be added?
Do you not listen?
What do you need me to do?
Do you not listen to Donkey Kong Jr. math in your car?
Oh, okay. Once again, I'm not here to roast the Pilotwings games. You were mentioning Pilotwings Resort. I'm not as big of a fan of that specific game because it kind of feels like a washed down version of like Woohoo Island from Wii Sports Resort. It's not like a bad game. It's still fun. But at least in my opinion, the soundtracks are like, you have a few bops in there, but as a whole, it's just such a random selection to add all 3 at once. Because it's like, if we're going through that much effort, like, Nintendo, just give me Mario Kart World and then I'll shut up. I will shut up forever. Just give me Mario Kart World and I will literally leave you alone. I will never bring up Nintendo Music again.
Last time with you, but just to bring it up in the podcast, my little tinfoil hat theory is the reason why they don't bring Mario Kart World into Nintendo Music yet is because probably a future updates to the game that'll add new courses and maybe soundtracks with it. So maybe they're waiting until they have the entire soundtrack package ready to go so they don't constantly update the app, which I don't think they've ever done with the game. But also, That's stupid.
Donovan, can you also stop being the voice of reason? Like,
Sorry, let me take out my brain. Let me smoothen it out. Okay, put it back in.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so that was a small one. I just wanted to quickly touch on that. If you're a big fan of Pilotwings, more power to you. Like I said, I don't dislike the games. It's just I cannot get over this whole bit about Nintendo Music. So this is another little small topic that I feel like this one just kind of broke last night or earlier today. This is pretty new. But apparently there's a rumor speculating around that New Super Mario Bros. Is going to be getting a collection coming to the Switch for Mario's 40th anniversary. Basically what the leak was saying is that it was going to be New Super Mario Bros. DS, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and New Super Mario Bros. 2, because of course we already had New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe on the Switch back in 2018. So this is a really interesting rumor, and it's one that if it was true and Nintendo went about it the right way, I would be excited. I think the odds of this being true is relatively low, though. This just seems so bizarre of a decision for them to do. Just because of also, like, we already have New Super Mario Bros. U on the Switch. You know, if they were to do this, I feel like they would be pricing it way too much, just knowing Nintendo. But the prospect of them, you know, pricing it appropriately, including the DLC from New Super Mario Bros. 2, maybe widescreen support for the handheld games.
4K.
There is some interesting stuff that they could do with it. Yeah, or 4K as well. Maybe a little bit of bonus content. Who knows? But that's, of course, just assuming that that collection is real in the first place. Donovan, is there anything that you would, like, let's just assume it was real. Is there anything that you would want to see from that?
I'm very nostalgic of the New Super Mario Brothers games. New Super Mario Brothers was my first video game ever, and I've had some great times playing them with friends. But if I take off the rose-tinted glasses, they kind of are pretty similar. Like, all 4 of them are pretty much identical. Maybe save for the original, maybe 3 of them are pretty much the same game with maybe 2 new gimmicks. I mean, like, the gimmick of Wii was multiplayer. I mean, that's pretty cool, but I feel like, you know, the level design feels a little too open. 2's gimmick was just, you're always rich. That's kind of it. And then U's gimmick was the acorn suit and the Wii U gamepad. I don't know why that console failed, but anyways, some of my friends are like getting really nostalgic over New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and very recently, like 3 days ago, we were contemplating, get on Dolphin. We'll try out New Super Mario Brothers Wii on Dolphin, and we want to play multiplayer
Donovan,
together.
we can't talk about
Dolphin. My bad. Let me smoothen out my brain a little bit. Okay.
He was talking about real dolphins from the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. Like the GameCube. The GameCube.
Go on.
But if they were to bring these into a collection for Nintendo Switch 2, I mean, online multiplayer for one, and multiplayer in general for maybe the original New Super Mario Brothers, that's awesome. I love that. And again, online multiplayer, so it actually functions, unlike net play Dolphin, which is 50-50, and also I've been hearing the recent Dolphin update is pretty terrible for playing online.
Oh, shots.
Shots fired. See, I've smoothened my brain out a little bit. But if we put it into a well thought out collection, this could be awesome. And yeah, they're all pretty similar, but at the end of the day, they're just fun games to play throughout, and honestly, maybe turn off your brain a little bit, and especially playing with co-op, it's hella fun. And if they could add like quality of life features like widescreen, 4K, and that would be awesome. Mini games. My only concern would be if they did do a collection, if they spruced up the graphics of, say, New Super Mario Brothers, the DS one. That game has a very specific graphical style because some of the models are 3D and some of them are 2D, and that's kind of a like a weird but funky little quirk that game has, and I find it kind of charming. So if they spruced up the graphics, maybe it'd lose that charm. But anyways, if this did happen, I'd be I'd be pretty stoked for it.
So another thing that's going to be happening very soon in the world of Nintendo is an Indie World presentation, which
Really? What?
By the time... Oh, have you not seen it?
What?
Donovan, whoa. Look at how professional this podcast is. So there's going to be an Indie World presentation this Thursday, which means that by the time this podcast drops, it will have already happened, rendering this entire segment outdated, but we'll talk about it anyway. So aside from Hollow Knight, Silk Song...
I'm getting my clown wig ready.
Because that's the obvious game that everyone wants to hear. Is there any like random thing that you think would be cool to see in this upcoming Indie World?
My friends have been playing this game called Peak on Steam.
Okay, what is that game like?
I think you're climbing a mountain.
Okay, well, but very
sorry,
thrilling conversation,
chat.
Donovan.
Yeah, proximity chat. So if someone falls, you could just hear their voice echo as they die into the abyss. I don't know. It's a simple concept, but sounds fun. I mean, my friends are playing it, so I don't know. They vouch for it. Relatively new, kind of catching fire right now.
Okay. Well, that'd be cool. I mean, I don't think I brought this. I low-key forgot, honestly, but with the partner showcase from last week, Plants vs. Zombies was revealed, which obviously that's not an indie game since EA owns PopCap. But that just kind of sparked my mind of like even just like nostalgic types of games and kind of like their indie counterparts because like a game like Plants vs. Zombies used to be indie. So you have lots of other just like random, gems like that I think could be revealed. One I thought of is Pummel Party. Is that already on Switch? Let me see. Let me do my live investigation.
Again,
Pummel
we
Party
are super professional.
Okay, it's already on Switch. Fuck me. Okay.
I want to see 1,200 farming games come to Switch too.
Yes. Well, no, Donovan, because all farming games are slop. Like all cozy games suck. They're not real games. All right, so that's great. So the past 3 minutes we have pretty much said nothing. So that's awesome. This podcast is going great.
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad. My only real thing was just Peak. And that's kind of it.
and even then, I feel like I do not know any more about Peak than I did before
and
this
my conversation about it was, you climb a mountain.
Okay, Donovan, talk to us about Jamboree TV. Just take it away.
Yeah. So, Jamboree TV is DLC to Super Mario Party Jamboree. Also, the name is god-awful. Super Mario Party Jamboree, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV. Say that 5 times in a row.
Well, that's just
your brain might explode.
That's just every Nintendo Switch 2 edition. They have Anyway, go on.
But you can buy the game separately for $20. DLC add-on, and you get all the Switch 2 perks. But what's really weird is that Jamboree TV is not really what I expected, and that's for the worst because first off, when you turn on the game and open it. It separates Super Mario Party Jamboree and then Jamboree TV. There's 2 different options for some reason. So if you go into the regular game mode, Jamboree, which is just the Nintendo Switch version, I don't think they did anything to that version. It is literally the exact same. Nothing has changed. It's pretty much identical. But then when you go into Jamboree TV, that's where you get 1440p. And all the new modes, you get mouse mini games and all that. You still have access to free play and then Mario Party. But when you go into the regular Mario Party mode, you will not have all those special goodies. You have to go into Jamboree TV and access that. It's really weird how they segmented it all. But anyways, the new modes that come with Jamboree TV is the roller coaster one. So I had a friend over yesterday and we played this. I was kind of stoked to try this out. The roller coaster one, kind of disappointing because it's kind of short. I didn't expect it to be like 2 or 3 very short mini games and killing talking flowers and flying things coming at you. It was really short and a little disappointing. And also, I don't have a Switch 2 camera. I stole my brother's webcam for all that. But Roller Coaster 1, I don't even know the name, but too short. Way too short for me. But mouse controls work pretty well. Pretty fun and wacky stuff. Bowser Live, that kind of blows. That kind of sucked because there's two different sections of Bowser Live: camera minigames and microphone minigames. Microphone minigames, if you have 4 people in the room, the opposite team can just sabotage, their opponents by just screaming when they're supposed to be talking in the microphone. That doesn't work in an in-person setting because no one plays Mario Party fair. Everybody hates each other. So when there's one minigame where you have to say go, and Bowser Jr. Rises to the top of the screen whenever you say go, and then you stop saying go, he'll fall down. You're supposed to collect tokens. The opposite team can just scream the entire time, and Bowser Jr. will be stuck at the top, rendering the other team completely useless.
So would you say that minigame is slop, Donovan?
That minigame is pure slop,
okay,
and
right.
That is just one minigame. Microphone minigames do not work. There's Bowser Chicken. Again, really, that's a fun concept. Yeah, it's not so much as slop as the Bowser Jr. one, but again, if you have a room full of people that want to kill each other, everyone's just going to scream at the same time. And then the final minigame, there's always 2 minigames, and then the final one always has you moving your arms, because this also involves the camera. You have to move your arms and scream into the microphone and hope to God Bowser picks you. And that blows. That sucks. That's so stupid. It doesn't work.
You tell him, Donovan.
It does not work. I'm unsmoothing my brain. It's getting wrinkly again. That mode sucks. Now, the camera minigames, those work better than the microphone minigames. They're still not that great. One of them has you punching a block. That's literally it. Okay, sure. The other one, I genuinely forgot.
It's that
I don't care that much. Yeah. So Bowser Live kind of blows. It's fun maybe for 1 or 2 tries, but after that, it's kind of cheesy. The camera is kind of weird, but it works surprisingly well. But the main gimmick of the camera when it comes to gameplay, it's kind of whatever. So the 2 Jamboree TV modes are kind of stinkers. Now, I guess the fun part, I haven't tried Mario Party mode and Jamboree TV, but from what I hear, you get an extra mode, and you get some new items, and you get camera play, and I have seen a Queso's and Dashy's video of that. Camera play seems really fun and intuitive. It's really silly how you can see everyone's faces. My friends love to make fun of me when something terrible goes down in a video game for me. Like, for example, in Smash Bros, I get thwacked at 0% and die immediately. If only they could see my face, it would look hellish. By the way, I'm screaming. It probably looks terrible, so it'd be really funny if they could see that. So camera play is really fun and cute. I like that. And the mouse minigames, I really like them. There, maybe 3 or 4 of them are some of my favorite minigames in the entire Mario Party Jamboree game. They're really fun and intuitive. Some of them are kind of throwaways, but other ones, like the spray can one, it's really intuitive how you just spray by using a mouse, and then you have to raise your Joy-Con and shake it just like a spray can to refill it. And it works really well. And then there's free play, and we just tried out more of the mouse control mini games, and that's kind of it. So overall, Jamboree TV, pretty disappointing. Yeah, the mouse mini games are fun. Yeah, the additions to Mario Party are pretty neat. But the 2 main modes that Jamboree TV is sold with are kind of stinkers. I don't know if this is worth $20.
Yeah, so what's funny is, I feel like whenever the different Switch 2 edition games were revealed, Jamboree TV was immediately the one that I was, the least interested in. And not even least interested, but, I didn't even really see why it existed in the first place. Obviously, it implements some of the Switch 2's unique features, mouse controls, camera, all that stuff. But it all just appeared so gimmicky compared to, like so far what we've seen with Kirby, or even the Zelda games, because even those could be considered gimmicky with like the Zelda Notes app. But I'm not that shocked by what you're saying about Jamboree TV.
I feel like it had potential. On face value, it seemed fun, but then in practice, not very practical when your friends, they don't like abiding by the rules, and we like to mess each other up. That's just human nature. So I don't think it works super well.
And what were your thoughts on like the base Jamboree game? I'm just curious because I know we have a history of playing it together and occasionally getting mad at each other and totally not fucking over anyone else in the group, and getting exiled from ever playing Jamboree again. Like that's never happened. But,
he has so much beef with you. It's crazy. But I did make a video on all the Mario Party games on Switch, and I do believe Jamboree is the best one, and one of the best Mario Parties, in my opinion. It's really fun and solid. Many games maybe are kind of lacking, and maybe there's not enough, but with the addition of mouse mini games, maybe it's still lacking in some areas, but I think it's a really solid package. Really, it's kind of like a must-have multiplayer game for any Nintendo Switch owner.
I definitely think it's the best Mario Party on the Switch. I feel like that. I feel like it's pretty hard to contest that.
I have beef with Super Mario Party.
That's a discussion for another day. So there's a few other things I wanted to hit on before we get to the main topic before questions, at least from what I had prepared. I thought this was interesting. This is a headline that just got published today. Basically, in Japan, or I think this is from Japan's division of My Nintendo News, maybe. It says Nintendo games excluded from big speedrunning events as organizers had to apply for permission with each game. This is not shocking at all. This is the big in action, pretty much. I just thought it'd be interesting to bring this up just because time and time again, Nintendo just loves to not cooperate with...
they're very strange.
Yeah, not even just with like competitive communities, say with Smash Bros, stuff like that, but speedrunning events that only work to bolster their communities for their games and
that's so weird.
Therefore help market them. It's just really interesting that they're being so difficult to work with. So, like I said, it's not surprising news, but it's just something that I was scrolling on My Nintendo, looking at what's going on over the past week, saw that, and I was like, wow, just Nintendo's back at it again. Do you think that Nintendo's ever going to kind of evolve as a company and not necessarily be the opposite of how they are now, but be a little bit more accepting of,
I hope like they're more lenient. A man can dream. But I made a video on how Nintendo treats their competitive communities. It's not the best.
For sure, that's an understatement.
It's also not the worst, but they could always improve, and they always have this tight grip on everything they own. And sometimes it's like, relax, bro. Like, we're trusted fans of your community. Just
I'm not gonna lie, Donovan.
Let us take the reins sometimes.
Donovan, referring to a $1 billion company as bro is
relax,
foul.
Bro.
That is
Mr. Nintendo. Relax.
The parasocial relationship you have with Nintendo is unreal.
Relax, man.
But I agree that Nintendo needs to just take a chill pill. Like, oh, just all right. So this is a big one, Donovan. This one might take up the remainder of the podcast. We might go overtime because of this one. This is breaking news. So the Power Rangers could be coming to Fortnite this month.
What? What? I gotta get off. Hold on. Bye.
Like, I don't know why I found this so funny. Obviously Fortnite's on Nintendo platforms.
I'm back from the item shop.
Oh, you bought it? You bought your V-Bucks?
Yep, immediately bought it.
Obviously Fortnite is on the Switch, so like it makes sense that it's being reported on. It's just the fact that it's like on the same stream of headlines as all these others.
Huge news. You only come here for the special hour to hear breaking news.
Dude, the fucking Power Ranger. Who's your favorite Power Ranger, Donovan? Which?
Chun-Li, what?
Is it bad that whenever I think of the Power Rangers, the first thing that comes to mind is the Axum Rangers from Super Mario RPG?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's unironically what...
That's pretty bad.
I have like Super Mario RPG brain rot at this point. It's bad. Okay, so actually though, for the topic that I wanted to bring up, Donovan, wait, before we get into this, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about, just in case that this does run through the rest of the time?
Nope.
All right, well, how professional this episode is. Okay, so I have a list here, once again, from My Nintendo News. They made a post about the 10 best-selling Switch games from the original platform, and I'm not someone that really keeps up with sales data that much, so I actually don't know off the top of my head what the 10 best-selling are. Really? So I thought it would be fun.
You're going to be concerned how I know it.
I thought it would be fun, though, to go one by one and discuss, is this a valid game to be in the top 10? Like, if someone asked you, what are 10 must-play Switch games, is this one of those 10? You know what I mean? So I'm going to read these one by one, starting with number 10. And we won't ramble too long, but starting off at number 10, this is funny that this is coming up because we were just talking about this earlier.
Yep.
New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. No. Just no. No.
Sitting at a good 18 million pieces.
18. More units than Wii U sold, which the original game was, of course,
that is true.
Which is
that
really
is
funny.
Sad.
Very funny.
Dude, this game doesn't even have the gamepad. Like,
it doesn't.
People are losing their minds.
It really is kind of the inferior version. I know a lot of people have made videos about this. Other than the accessibility changes that they made, adding what do you call it? The ability to play Nabbit. Who the fuck is the other character that they added?
Peachette or Toadette. That's the one thing this game is really known for. It's making an abomination.
For some of the wrong reasons, you could say.
Yeah.
But anyway, it adds the ability for you to play as those two kind of easy mode characters, even in single player. I think that's a cool feature to add. Other than that, it's basically New Super Mario Bros. U and Luigi U just on the Switch. Not much else is really different about this one. So the fact
the reason why
I
think the reason why it sold 18 million was, 2019. So this was the only 2D Mario on the platform, and the Wii U doesn't count. Let's be real.
Okay, let's pause really quick, Donovan. I'm really getting tired of the Wii U slander. I mean, this is not the first.
That's my thing, man. That's my thing.
Okay, but maybe it shouldn't be your thing, Donovan.
If take out your Wii U's, if it's full of dust, which it is.
No,
draw
stop.
A frowny face on it.
No, you're putting a frowny face on me right now. I don't. No, the Wii. Okay, look, the Wii U is not the best Nintendo system, but it's not bad. Sure, they basically made it obsolete by porting every single game in existence to the 3DS
it's
and
a little
Switch.
Fisher-Price toy.
But it's Donovan. No. All right.
Well, anyways, since it was only the only 2D Mario game, and ever since then, people just kept buying it, and then Super Mario Brothers Wonder came out, and that sold a good 15 million, I believe. Just 3 million away from this, but U Deluxe just had more time on the market, so that's what I...
Yeah, I would love to see Wonder overtake it, or really any game, to be honest.
Yeah, this game doesn't really deserve it.
Yeah, it's not a Switch game, so it definitely doesn't deserve it.
True.
Well, actually, no, I don't...
You don't want to know the number one,
Yeah,
then.
actually, I probably shouldn't speak so soon. All right, so number 9 is Super Mario Party. We literally were just shitting on this game not even 5 minutes ago. So you might be able to guess what my thoughts on this are. I think that obviously Jamboree is... If we're going to have a Mario Party game in the top 10, I wish that was it. But once again, Super Mario Party has been in the market way longer, and it came out relatively early on in the Switch's life cycle, where I feel like party games were not as, all over the place on the system. This was before you had Pummel Party, supposedly coming to the Switch. I didn't realize that earlier. But, this was before we had Mario Party Superstars, and then, of course, Jamboree. So... I guess I can understand why it sold so much. It's just a shame that there's 21 million people out there. A good portion of those, this is probably their potentially first introduction to Mario Party. So it's really a shame that this is this is the game.
Yeah, Super Mario Party's it's I don't really like it that much. At the time I liked it, but that was because it was my first. I remember seeing that number, it was stuck at like 18, 19, 20, and it just kept rising. Even when Superstars was released, I'm like, why are you guys still buying the worst Mario Party? Superstars is right there. But 21 million pieces, nothing to scoff at. Still, it has some redeeming qualities. It's not like Mario Party 10.
The mini games are good, I guess.
Yeah, mini games are good. It uses
but at the same
really
time,
well.
I feel like yeah, the mini games are good, but I feel like
the boards are terrible.
Most Mario Party games though have good mini games. Most. So
not one.
Yeah, but yeah, the boards are really bad in Mario Party. Or Super Mario Party specifically. They're very grid-based.
I hate the buddy system.
Yeah, okay, yeah, the buddy system is one of the ones that I hate.
It is so bullshit.
I'm also personally not a big fan of the whole custom dice thing with certain characters. Because I feel like Mario...
I don't like that either.
Yeah, I feel like Mario Party's a game where you shouldn't have any kind of edge in that way whenever you're starting a game.
There was a meta for a Mario Party game. I just want to play as Yoshi, damn it.
So yeah, Super Mario Party, not a fan of that being in the top 10, but I'm not surprised either. Number 8 is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom with 21.93, barely more than Super Mario Party. I just want that to really sink in, that less than 1 million more people have Tears of the Kingdom than Super Mario Party.
Now we're talking.
I quite famously, okay, that sounds so stupid. I quite
famously, they made a statue of this.
I'm not famous. I quite, admittedly, that's a much more appropriate word. Have not played Tears of the Kingdom, or I've played like a little bit of it whenever it launched, but not enough to offer my thoughts on the game. And I think you've talked a little bit about this, so we don't need to get into a full-on discussion on Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, we'll save this for
we'll do that in the future. But even without playing it, just with the scope of the game, I can absolutely respect its place in the top 10. And spoiler alert, this is not the only Zelda game here. But next up is Pokemon Sword and Shield at 26.84 million.
Pokemon.
Literally have,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I've not played it, but it's Pokemon. Pokemon sells. And at number 6 is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is probably, it makes sense, but isn't Scarlet and Violet the one with like that launch with loads of performance issues? And
Pokemon this generation has been taking hit after hit after hit. But it still sells, and it's impressive that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sold super well. I believe it was the fastest selling first-party video game ever.
Really?
Period.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And if we go back to Tears of the Kingdom, it is the fastest selling Nintendo game, period.
At $70. That's another thing we forgot to mention. Tears of the Kingdom broke that $70 seal for Nintendo. And then less than 3 years later, they literally just fucked that out of existence. They broke it again. For the Mario Kart. Anyway, go on with your Scarlet and Violet critique.
It's Pokemon. I think the appeal for Scarlet and Violet to me, and probably to many, was the open world aspect. Sword and Shield kind of touched on that a little bit, but the open world, I mean, that's any Pokemon fan's dream. It was a dream come true to many, and also it sort of implemented some of the battle features from Legends Arceus, which is I'd say that's my favorite Pokemon game. I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan, but it made battles and catching Pokemon much more seamless, and it felt quicker and faster and much more immersive, mainly because there's not too much of a load time, and the open world aspect is simply just a dream come true to many. So I'd say this makes sense, but also Game Freak. Okay, well, I think 27 million people, including myself, are part of the problem. But
well, yeah, because it's like if
Game Freak,
if they can literally just shit out a new Pokemon game and then 27 million people buy it, then why would they take the time to make it better? Because
Game Freak, I think you need to step of your game when it comes to performance stuff.
Well, I mean, on
Hopefully
the
you're
bright
doing
side, the free update for Switch 2 does improve the frame rate and everything. So, if you're like me and you've never played the game, now's probably a better time than ever to give it a spin.
I remember seeing a video of Alpharad. He's like, "Oh my gosh, it runs so smooth," and then his comments were like, "Nintendo fan learns of frames."
I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong.
They're not wrong. They're not wrong. Like, we're easy. Pokemon fans are easy to please when you give them a good experience.
So I would say, I guess, Sword and Shield. I'm more. I don't want to say I'm okay with it being on the list because I've literally never played either. So that's like the dumbest thing ever for me to say whether it deserves to be there. They both make sense though. They're Pokemon. Number 5, we have Super Mario Odyssey with 29.5 million units. Definitely deserves to be on the list. I'm glad that it was such a success. It also makes a ton of sense because not only is the game great, but it came out in the launch year of the system and was one of the big pillars of their marketing that year. So no surprise that it's here. I'm glad that it's withheld its place in the top 5. I'm sorry to you, King, that so many people are all of a sudden turning on you in the past few years. I'm still one of your adoring fans, though. Don't worry. I guess here I am, a grown man, literally talking to a game. This is a new low.
The parasocial relationship is awesome.
You called Nintendo bro, Donovan. I don't want to hear it.
Broski, chill out. I'm talking to the people at the lawyer firm.
Yeah, please. you have to make peace with their shrewd law department. So number 4 is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Same story as Odyssey, where it was launch title for the Switch. Switch probably would not be where it is today without a game of that caliber showing people what it's capable of. Of course, this was originally developed for the Wii U. So, of course, there's always that
What's
debate. I'm gonna fucking block you, Donovan.
What's that?
So,
I've never heard of that. I've only heard of Virtual Boy. Well, anyways, this is interesting because Zelda has never outsold
Am I just
Mario.
not going to be able to finish my sentence, Donovan? I was...
Sorry. Continue.
All I was going to say is that Breath of the Wild was originally developed with trigger warning the Wii U in mind. So even though it may not be the absolute pinnacle of what the Switch was capable of back in 2017, it still showed you how big a game could be and still run relatively well. So now you can go on.
Zelda has never outsold Mario. This is kind of the one exception, and it's outsold it by 4 million units?
Yeah, pretty comfortable margin.
Impressive. I mean, Breath of the Wild, in monumental game. Possibly the game of the decade because how many open world games, how many games in general have taken inspiration from Breath of the Wild, including its sequel, which is really funny. Monumental game, and this really solidified Zelda as it's always been a pillar of Nintendo, but it's now a pillar that can even dethrone stand aside and dethrone Mario in some cases. But
the thing is as we learned from having Ivan on a few episodes ago, the game sucks, so it probably doesn't. It doesn't deserve to be on this list.
It is terrible. Bring back the old Zelda formula. Yeah. All open world games should die, including Mario Kart World. Anyone that likes open world games should be dropped in a field of nothingness and see how they like it.
What's Elden Ring? I've never heard of that.
What's Elden Ring? I love Ubisoft though. they make
that's a quote for someone to make a soundbite of right there.
Slop? Nah.
All right, so number 3 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Once again, no shocker. It's also no shock that a Smash Bros. Game in general would sell this well, but Ultimate is literally the ultimate Smash game. So I've said before, I'm not a huge Smash person, and we've talked about what we wanted the next Smash to be like on a previous episode, so we don't need to harp too long on this. I think it's top 3 worthy. What about you, Donovan?
Yes, definitely top 3 worthy, and I'm looking ahead. These top 5 games kind of really make a great, well-rounded package for the system. I mean, there's so much variety, and yeah, Ultimate being up top, yeah, it's a must-have game for the Switch. It defines the platform. It's a it's a humongous fighting game. Big party game as well. It brings a lot of people together. Makes sense.
I think the game that's the most interesting to me in this whole list is Animal Crossing. Not because, oh, by the way, Animal Crossing at number 2, 48 million units. Not that I'm surprised that it was successful. Of course, it came out during the lockdown, so everyone had nothing to do. And then here you have this cozy game that everyone can just kind of get.
Cozy games are trash, by the way.
But damn it, Donovan. But the thing that's so interesting is in an alternate reality where obviously COVID never happened, how many units would Animal Crossing have sold? Would it still have made it onto this list?
Well, New Leaf was a top system seller for the 3DS. So Animal Crossing, even back then, was still a pretty sizable pillar of Nintendo.
But 48 million unit pillar?
Yeah, I don't know if it would have... Okay, here's the thing with Animal Crossing. Yes, it did have a humongous surge, and the player count has definitely dropped off, and especially with the lack of updates. I mean, the last update was probably, honestly, 2021, which, it's been 4 years ever since that game got anything new. But the thing is, if you've been paying attention... mega virgin alert here, but as someone that was paying attention to these numbers over the years, Animal Crossing still sells a lot every single year. And I mean, from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has 36.55 million pieces. Animal Crossing has 48.19 million pieces. That is 12 million pieces more than Smash Ultimate. That is a sizable gap. That is humongous. I think the game, it has its flaws. I do think I'd say it deserves its spot, and it shows the versatility of the Switch platform, how many different games and different genres it provides. Would it have been successful without the pandemic? I mean, to this degree, I'd say maybe of like 30 million. I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, because I agree. Of course, Animal Crossing was already a very strong Nintendo IP. I guess what I was asking is, would it have been this big though? Obviously, it would have been successful. New Horizons, even though many have their problems with it, it's a very, for a lack of better terms, like cutesy Animal Crossing game where all of the villagers are always nice to you. There's not really anything at stake in that way. Versus like the GameCube original, the one I've probably spent the most time on. That's a game that like it kind of feels earthy in a way. And that's not to take away from New Horizons. I still think it's a really fun game, and I'm glad it's on the list. I love seeing Animal Crossing being successful, but honestly, I just love seeing any Nintendo game that's not Mario be successful. Speak of the devil, at number 1 with 68 million units, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And as I was literally trash talking New Super Mario Bros. U for not being a Switch game, we have a game that is, albeit a much expanded upon version of a Wii U game, but it still is a Wii U game. So do you think it deserves number 1?
It's Mario Kart. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, Donovan, I didn't ask you, are you surprised it's number 1? Because of course Mario Kart is the best.
Does it deserve it? Yeah.
I mean, wow, what beautiful insight we're providing right now. Holy shit, we suck at our jobs. We are terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Nice.
All right, okay, let me briefly actually say something now. With Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I think if they had not added Booster Course DLC and it was just like the game itself revamped with battle mode, I would be a little bit more on the fence because at the end of the day, it's Mario Kart 8. It's a fantastic game, arguably the best Mario Kart game. I mean, I still am inclined to say it is. Honestly, we could have a future episode just debating on what the best Mario Kart game is. Is it the best Switch game over Breath of the Wild, over Odyssey?
Well, that's like comparing an apple to an orange.
Well, but what I'm saying, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm just saying that Mario Kart 8 as a Switch game, not as a game. If we're comparing game to game, it's like apples to oranges. But which game encapsulates the Switch better? I don't know. I don't know if that, in my opinion, like if someone asked me, what is a game I need to play that's like, this is the Switch experience? My answer is probably like Odyssey. All right, so being that this episode is already enough of a train wreck, it should come as no surprise that we had a little bit of audio issues. So we are re-recording this a little bit later, so if the audio sounds any different, then that is why. Donovan, how are you doing in the future from when the rest of the podcast was recorded?
But from the future, I'm almost done with Bonanza, and I cannot wait to go back into it.
Yeah, so I was playing a lot of Bonanza over the past few days, right up to the end of the game. So honestly, if you want, maybe next episode we can talk about our post-game thoughts.
Down.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. But anyway, all that we got left before we cut off for today is our questions. So let's go ahead and get into what those are for today. So our first question of this episode comes from one of my friends, Owen, who asked, what is your favorite game of all time? So based on the way this question is phrased, I'm assuming we're talking about our subjective answer. So, Donovan, what is the game that just keeps pulling you back in? Maybe you have memories with it, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I got I'd say it's been a while, so I can exclude recency bias, but I believe Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has taken the throne as my favorite game of all time, even dethroning Breath of the Wild. I played Tears of the Kingdom in like sort of specific circumstances. One of them being like where I just did not play Breath of the Wild for a very long time, like 6 years before Tears of the Kingdom, and so I wasn't like super knowledgeable of all the different areas because it's been such a long time, and I feel like that kind of connected and immersed me into back into the world of Hyrule. I mean, canonically it's been 3 to 6, 8 years since Breath of the Wild, so it kind of felt like I'm re-exploring Hyrule and saving an old friend and getting back into action and watching all these different locations that I loved evolve and grow past what the destruction that was to behold in Breath of the Wild. People grew up, families were made. Terry Town, that's something that you constructed back in Breath of the Wild. That was greatly expanded upon in Tears of the Kingdom. People obviously have their problems with the reuse of the open world. For me, I just felt super engrossed by Hyrule once again, and I'm of the opinion that I think Tears of the Kingdom does everything Breath of the Wild does better, except the story. I do have my gripes.
I'll let the comments have fun with that. And so you did mention that the game kind of canonically takes place 3 to 8 years. I didn't know that was the exact time span. Which that is actually pretty cool to think about because that's around the amount of years it took for the game to release after Breath of the Wild. Yeah. So it's almost like you are alongside Link re-experiencing the world, like, the same amount of time being passed. So that is a cool way to think about it. But yeah, I still need to play Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know if it's going to surpass Breath of the Wild for me, but I'm going to keep an open mind.
People saw that video. I hate Tears of the Kingdom, therefore, my opinion.
I love how we reference that video every single video now. So my favorite game, it's a tough decision because there's a lot of games that I hold a deep personal connection with. I spent copious amounts of hours playing Minecraft growing up. Played a lot of like Celeste, and that game spoke to me with its story. But I think if I had to single out one game, it'd probably be Mario Kart Wii. It was the first game that I really took seriously with YouTube. It was the first video that I had kind of semi blow up was about Mario Kart. It was a documentary on the history of the Mario Kart Wii modding community. So, I mean, just with that alone, the game kind of holds a special place in my heart, but I used to play it a ton growing up, both a little bit competitively, but also just like with friends, family. And even though I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has surpassed Mario Kart Wii, like from a objective point of view, like I think that's the better game. Mario Kart Wii will always be my favorite one. So that's my answer. Yeah, honestly, that's just such a difficult question to answer because like I feel like any given week I might have a different answer, just depending on like what mood I'm in, or just like what genre I'm leaning towards at the moment, but. Hopefully that answers your question. So next, just a complete tone shifter of a question. Snowy asks, Cool Ranch or Nacho Doritos? And they specifically added on that this is the most important question. So
yeah, there's only one answer too, and it's the only right one.
It's nacho cheese.
It's nacho.
It's not. Honestly, it's kind of funny how not close this is. So nacho cheese Doritos easily is my answer. We didn't even mention what's the spicy flavor called? It's like spicy nacho or something.
I have no clue. All I know is that
spicy
nacho
one is also better.
Is just factually the correct answer. And
I also
Cool
just
Ranch,
don't really like Cool Ranch.
Maybe not for a Dorito. But Cool Ranch is maybe better on some other chips. But like Doritos, like nacho cheese.
I fully agree. And then finally, this is a question that I really found interesting to think about. Sid Olin asks, would you make YouTube your full-time job given the opportunity? Donovan, if your channel just suddenly blew up, would you, let YouTube take center stage in your career?
I say this without hindsight, and a man can dream, but if the opportunity did arise, yes, I'll take it. But that's me just blissfully saying that. Obviously, if I ever did, there'd be multiple challenges, especially with the fact that turning your hobby into a job, that's a giant hurdle. Some people can't even cross. Some people say the moment your hobby just turns into a job, it just no longer becomes fun. And if you're living off of YouTube, actually making money off of it, you have to keep in mind you got to be really consistent and on the grind. Sure, maybe to some it could be like super easy, but some other times it could be really time consuming and really draining, and it could even lead to burnouts, which once you burn out, that's a huge financial concern because you're no longer pumping out content, and the YouTube algorithm is going to not like that. So obviously, as a blissful answer, yes, I would. But I feel like, I got to take into account the challenges, and if I ever were to have that opportunity, I'd say I'm ready for those challenges. I could probably take them on as a young kid with no hindsight. What about you?
Yeah, it's a very nuanced question because one, the odds of that even becoming a reality is so slim, just being realistic. That's not even me having like a negative outlook. It's just like with how niche of a market like our specific type of content is. I haven't even gotten monetized yet, so that's looking way out into the future, or at least most likely. But if it ever did happen, if my channel did manage to cross that point, I definitely would want to take that leap. Mainly because I just feel like if I didn't, like if my channel did get to that point and I chose like for whatever reason to put it on the back burner, I could see myself looking back on that in the future and kind of regretting it. Always living with that what if in my mind, like what if I did take that leap with YouTube and actually allocate more of my time to it, because also it's just really interesting to think about what could be done with the channel, with the podcasts, other endeavors on YouTube if I had more time, because at the end of the day, like the way I currently am running my channels, it's a very much like a side gig with other things I have going on in my life. So if I was able to, put more energy into it, I think it would be really fascinating to think about like what could come of that. So anyway, the short non-yap answer to the question is yes. But I'm apprehensively hopeful about that, happening. More likely, YouTube would become like a really good part-time gig to do alongside something else. I know that's what many other YouTubers, especially within the Nintendo niche, do. But you know, like you said, I think it would be really cool if that ever did come about, and definitely burnout would be a factor to consider because, like you said, whenever you take something that was once solely a passion project and you add worrying about the financials of it, you know, that it also forces you to pay even more attention to the analytics. I could definitely see burning out becoming, you know, more of a hazard to worry about. But yeah, anyway, that was a super long-winded way to say yes. Well, anyway, thank you so much for the questions, everyone. As usual, if you do have anything you want us to answer, feel free to do so either in the comments of the video or the best way to do it is to join our Discord server, which is linked in the description and in the channel page, where we have a dedicated text channel where you can ask us questions. Donovan, where can the people find you on the internet?
Yes. If you agree with my Tears of the Kingdom opinions, you can find me at DonovanDud YouTube channel. And you can also find me and primarily interact with me on my Discord server, the Nintendo Boys. But I'm also on Twitter trying to start that up a little bit more, and you can find me on Instagram as well. Where can we find you, Mr. Dean?
Twitter is my favorite non-toxic app to
yeah, it's so peaceful, especially the Grok AI. You know, I love that.
Yeah, so you guys can find me if you want to follow me at all. Twitter, Blue Sky. I want to, like you were saying, you want to be more active on Twitter. I definitely need to be a bit more engaged with Blue Sky. So I'll try to do that going forward. And then also the Dean Kingdom is my Discord server, which should be linked on the Discord server that I was talking about before. But yeah, other than that, I'm also MrDean44 on YouTube. Feel free to check me out. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Donovan, do you have any final words that you want to leave them with? Any words of wisdom?
Yeah, I think we covered this in the deleted portion of this outro. You know, thank you all for listening.
Yes, not watching.
Not watching.
I mistakenly said thank you for watching, and Donovan made sure to bring it to my attention that this is a podcast.
Yeah, it's a podcast. You listen, and if you say watching, we're gonna have to start looking into new hosts for this podcast.
Oh boy. Okay. May I also remind everyone that Donovan hates the Wii U. So to anyone who is also like me and doesn't hate the Wii U, feel free to let us know in the comments that you want a new host, and I will happily.
We can argue about this on the greatest website of all time, Twitter.
Yes, that's a great way to bring this all full circle.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. What?
You just said the W word.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention.
All right, thank you all. See ya.